This is a short video about the discovery of the Brigids Way alignment. It starts at the Hill of Tara because I suppose the origin of the discovery stretches back to the early 2000s when Richard Moore was standing on the Hill of Tara looking towards the Hill of Slane. And he noticed that as you're looking towards Slane, in actual fact, uh, there's the Hill of Slane with Slane's mound on it. You're actually also looking in the distance towards Mount Oriel near Cullen in County Louth. Well, Cullen is in County Louth, and so is Mount Oriel. So he wondered why that was, and we later discovered that when the King of Tara was looking towards the Hill of Slane when St. Patrick lit the Paschal fire, in actual fact what was happening at that moment was in the sky behind Slane the cross-shaped constellation of Cygnus was rising, and that's got some very interesting cosmic implications. The cross being the symbol of Christ and the fire apparently representing the new flame, the new Paschal fire, but of course the Paschal fire ceremony had existed in a non-Christian setting in Ireland at that point. So anyway, this alignment is documented in Island of the Setting Sun, the alignment connecting the Hill of Tara through the Hill of Slane to Mount Oriel. And of course on its way we also discovered at that time that the alignment passes through a hill called Realtoge, which means star. This is a very interesting place, and directly through a moat or a moated site on Realtoge. Realtoge's interesting in relation to the Boyne Valley monuments, especially Newgrange, because a lot of people go to Newgrange on the winter solstice, and at dawn the sun rises from the southeast and shines into the chamber. What they don't realise is that at dusk, at sunset on the winter solstice, when you're standing at the front of Newgrange, the sun actually sets over this hill to the southwest called Realtoge. So there's a connection there with the Boyne Valley sites. So this was the original alignment: Tara, Realtoge, through a moat at Thurstonstown near Bow Park, through Slane's mound on the Hill of Slane towards Mount Oriel. And of course the mound on the Hill of Slane is said to be the burial place of a Fir-Bullock king called Slane. Slane is famous for its Christian ruins and as being the place where Patrick lit the Paschal fire, but indeed it's got a fairly substantial moat or mound surrounded by an earthen or a circular enclosure. So this is directly on the alignment. Sometime after the first edition of Island of the Setting Sun was published, while I was researching for the second revised and expanded edition, I decided to extend this. I decided to investigate this alignment further, so I extended the alignment further north. At the time of the original discovery, a lot of the imagery in Google Earth was low resolution, so it was very difficult to see individual sites on it. But as time went on, more and more high resolution imagery was added. I extended it all the way to Dundalk and north of Dundalk town, and I found that it pointed towards Faughart Hill, and I had been to Faughart once, and I knew that there was a significance up here, not only to the Christian goddess Saint Brigid, but there were prehistoric remains up here, including this moat which is beside the graveyard. But I was stunned to find that the alignment goes all the way precisely to the well dedicated to Brigid on the Hill of Faughart in the graveyard. So this was a real sort of breakthrough moment. I couldn't believe the precision of it, in fact. So now we had Hill of Tara, Realtoge, Thurstonstown, Slane Moat, Mount Oriel and Faughart. And in actual fact, something I forgot to mention about Mount Oriel, which kind of gives it an added importance, is the fact that it's not just one monument on Mount Oriel. There are a number. It's another of these hills like Slieve Bra that has a cluster of barrows on it. Maybe not as many as Slieve Bra, and I'd say that some have been destroyed over time. In actual fact, I distinctly remember reading that somewhere. But it was the precision of this alignment. So you had the Hill of Tara and the other sites which appeared to sit precisely on it. Which was really mind-blowing, actually. The final piece of the jigsaw then fell into place when I decided to extend the alignment south, or should I say south-southwest, from the Hill of Tara. And I found that in the distance a good bit into the distance, it culminates at a place called the Curragh in County Kildare. Now, the Curragh today is famous for its racecourse and the army barracks there. However, in ancient times, it was famous in the story of Brigid. She wanted some land to graze her cattle from the Leinster king, and he said she could have whatever land her cloak would cover. And she laid her cloak on the ground, and it magically transformed and spread out and covered the whole of the Curragh. And the king, true to his word, gave her the whole plain on which to graze her cattle. And she went on to found her monastery on the westernmost end of the Curragh at the village of Kildare. And Kildare claims Brigid very vehemently today, as much as Faughart does, because Faughart is supposed to have been the place where Saint Brigid, the saint that we know, the Christian saint, was born. So while she was born at Faughart, she grazed her cattle at the Curragh, and she founded her monastery in Kildare. So I suppose both areas would share her equally in some ways. There are two very interesting aspects of this alignment for me. One is its precision and its distance, and how many sites are situated precisely on it. And the other one is the cosmic aspect, which I will explain just in a moment. We'll just have a zoom in here. There's an enclosure there at Clarkstown that sits, I think it's only the remains of an enclosure. But I will show you a couple of the other sites. Realtoge, we had a look at Thurstonstown. That moat is precisely on the alignment. couldn't be more precise. And also towards the Louth end of it, some monuments or partly destroyed monuments at a place called Drumcashel, and also the crossroads of Dunmahan, a very small village outside Dundalk. That's interesting. Crossroads were part of the old straight tracks discovered in Britain by Alfred Watkins. But of equal interest is the fact that this alignment would appear to point towards the place in the sky where in ancient times where the cross-shaped constellation Cygnus would have been rising. And Cygnus is a very, very important constellation, especially in prehistory. There's a very strong connection with Newgrange, where there is significant swan mythology and an alignment involving forenox, which is actually detailed in another video. And forenox points also to the place in the sky where the bright star of Cygnus Deneb would have been rising in prehistory. The alignment stretches across 65 miles, approximately 105 kilometres. I'm very glad that the Brigids Way pilgrimage has been established along the route as a result of the research started by Richard Moore and I, and it's a matter of great pleasure and joy, and hopefully it'll highlight. This is one of a number of very interesting and precise alignments across the ancient landscape in Ireland. So I would like to congratulate Dolores Whelan and Karen Ward, who got the inspiration for the Brigids Way walk from a talk that I gave in Dundalk about the alignment in early 2012. And the inaugural pilgrimage took place in July 2013, and myself and my family attended a few days of it. It took 9 days in total to travel the 65 miles from Faughart to Kildare. An absolutely wonderful achievement by all concerned. Another thing that I might just briefly mention is the fact that while researching the alignment or the route of the pilgrimage in Dundalk, Karen and Dolores were told that in actual fact the part of the route that crosses through the land of Sally Cox in Dundalk, who very generously allowed us to walk across the land on the pilgrimage, that it had been revealed by a historian, Harold O'Sullivan, that in actual fact part of the original Brigid's route, Brigid's pilgrimage route, passed through that land. So in actual fact they discovered that there was a pilgrim route from Faughart to Kildare in earlier times, and in actual fact we've only kind of really rediscovered that, and I wonder how much that might have been based upon this alignment of ancient sites, which obviously stretches right back into prehistory.